We continue with the human. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, somebody didn't do they, somebody didn't do their studying last week. Yeah, I sent it to everybody. Phone. Remember last week I sent it to everybody on the website. All right. So the last one we did was parenting sin, right? So now we're going to watch and pull it up. Y'all, lesson covered last week personal sin, parental sin. Now we're going to common national sin. Word. Probably have to download the word app. We go. National sin. No, community or national sin. Sin that done together, you know. So we already had covered the single sin with personal or even the parenting sin. Now we're doing it as a nationwide, sin. That as we already know our ancestors did a national. They went all in together. Mm-hmm. We had to rehearse. So it says, thirdly, we suffer on a communal basis. Rule assesses mankind as individuals, as families, and as communities. And he works to his own standards before he blesses or curses. And it's so true and stuff. People like we look at certain things in life or certain things that we do, and people wonder why that effect happen. Why it trickle down and stuff. So it's just like with say let's say with Adam and Kahua, they call Eve during that time and stuff. They were partners in crime. So people always would say, "Oh, you see, nothing ain't happened until Adam did it." I said, "Yeah, but you got to remember, it's a setup. Why? If he would have went after Eve right then and there, then Adam wouldn't have did it. Then he would have hold back. But that's why I said that he works to his own standard before he blesses or curses. So if you already seen something that's going on, when they do a stakeout, you got the driver, the getaway person, but you got the person that's going, the one who's gonna go in. Now, if they just go in and all of a sudden it's rushed because the person that went in started robbing the place, then that means they can't do nothing with the driver. But they want to get all parties. So they just let the thing play itself out. So that's what Yule did. He let the whole scenery play itself out to see if the rest of the party was going to do or not do, or be an accessory to the crime or to the sin. So that's what it is right here and stuff. Just like it was with Adam and Peru and stuff, see if the whole party gonna go out. Just like with Israel as a nation, you had the leaders doing their thing. Then you will just chill and wait and see if the people was gonna do what they gonna follow behind those leaders and do the same thing, or was they gonna reject it and say, "Oh no, we ain't doing that." Sure. So he let the whole thing plays out. So that's why it comes when it comes with the community as a whole, a nation as a whole. commit these, these different infractions. So we see here now we're talking about them doing it as a whole, as a nation. That's why you will say he works out his own standards before he blesses a person. So he want to see what's going to happen before he decides whether he's going to bless a person. So communal or national punishment comes in the form of war. Yeah, this goes back to why people have these questions, why he allowed this to happen, why he let this happen, and all that. Well, here you go. He said this kind of stuff happened. War in the form of war, famine, crazy weather, freak weather, disease, epidemic, earthquake. So in other words, as a nation, you'll cause stuff to happen to you because the whole nation doing a certain thing, at the same time. A big number of us, we go back to what? Sodom and Gomorrah. See what happened to them. They was doing it as a whole. So guess what? We had to wipe them out. So these are the different things that happen. It can start from the individual, then it can go from the parent, next thing you know, start happening as a whole and stuff. People just grab on it because why? People gonna do what their leaders do, good or bad. Because they automatically figure if you're a leader and you doing certain things, but in your mind you probably was taught that it was bad. But then if it's bad, why my leader doing it? So it must have got to be all right. See, so that's where the confusion, come in and stuff and start messing with people's head. Like, hey, something's right. My mama did it lying to me, or they ain't doing it right, or they doing it right, and and stuff. So it's just messing people's head up now because they see their leaders doing certain things that they were taught that wasn't right, but then it got to be right if they doing it. That person says, man, of the Most High, or that woman saying she's a woman of the Most High, but they doing this. But I thought they said he couldn't do that, but then they said it's all right. And then it just mess everybody head up. But they're gonna say, oh, well, my God, he did it. It must be okay. Because he said he's the man of the Most High. So he must have got a pass. So it must be all right if I do it. So these are the kind of things that goes on. And people be wondering why, ask another question, why he let this, why he let he ain't letting nothing happen. You let it happen. Because of our action, for every action is a reaction. So we know, and he already told us that you do such and such and such, you'll be blessed. If you don't do such and such and such, you'll be cursed. So who fault that is? Mankind. Mankind's fault. Because he gave you the pros and the cons, the do's and the don'ts. So it ain't, so that's to clear up to those that ask these questions. Hey, he ain't let nothing happen. You caused it. Let's go. So Jeremiah, it's called Jeremiah, 28th chapter.
Jeremiah chapter 28, verses 7 through 9. 7 through 9.
Then after that, 29th chapter, 18.
Nevertheless, listen now to this word that I speak in your hearing, and in the hearing of all the people. The prophets that have been before me, and before you from old, prophesied both against many countries and against great kingdoms of war, and of evil, and of pestilence. The prophet who prophesies of shalom, when the word of the prophet will come to pass, then will the prophet be known that Yahuwah has truly sent him.
So you even see there, he's telling he prophesied against other nations, other countries, talking about their sins. So you see, it ain't, like I say, he don't have no respect for person. So he gonna do it to his own children or his own chosen people that he pick aside. How much more for those other nations and stuff. So we see as a whole that he deals with certain nations. He even say that he's going to avenge us for what we went through, what our ancestors went through and stuff. So now we're returning, we're being obedient and stuff. And that's the whole thing. If you're obedient, you get the blessing. If you're disobedient, you're gonna get the curses. You're gonna get the beat, the punishment that goes along, along with it. Anyone before we get to the next chapter?
Thank you. The people have to obey their leaders. Aren't we even admonished to obey the leaders? So when the leaders go astray, the people go astray.
But the people still have the choice. Yeah.
They do individually. They do have a choice. But like for instance, when the COVID thing was raging, Akufuadu sat there on stage with his sleeve up, and the lady came and supposedly gave him
some water.
Yeah, some salt water, some Gatorade. But that was an attempt for everybody to follow his example.
Right. But people had a choice not to do it. We had over to do
That's true. That's true. But once they make it mandatory, I guess you still, yeah, that's true. You still do have a choice. You do have a choice. So yeah, I get it. I definitely get it.
Right, yeah. Okay, we go to chapter 29 of the same book, verse 18 through 19. Jeremiah 29 chapter 18 through the 19th verse. Okay.
And I will persecute them with the sword, with the famine, and with the pestilence, and will deliver them to be removed to all the kingdoms of the earth, to be a curse and an astonishment and a hissing and a reproach among all the nations whither I have driven them, because they have not hearkened to my words, says Yahuwah, which I sent unto them by my servants the prophets, rising up early and sending them. Ye would not hear, says Yahuwah.
Now, who said that? Huh?
Yahuwah.
Right. So now we seeing now that tells you what, that he ain't letting nothing happen. He did it himself. He said he's gonna do this. So see, that's what people have to catch. But it all goes back to like those who haven't been taught, those who haven't read or studied this and that, and that'd be the most dangerous thing is that people not reading or studying or researching and stuff. And there's a lot of things that they miss out that they don't know or understand or don't try to, but they sit back and have so many opinions of stuff, why this and why that, this and that. But everything, it has a story behind it, have something behind it, what we just read and stuff, that he say he would do it. So he's not letting it happen, he's doing it himself because of disobedience. And so we see now that he's still in control. He's causing this. Now people wonder, well, ain't he so loving and this and that? But yeah, it also say it's a terrible thing to fall in the hand of an angry mighty one as well. See, and that's the problem with people. We always want the lolly dolly and comfort and kumbaya stuff. But there's another side to Yahuwah and stuff. He has a side where he get angry. But it says he's slow to anger, but he's still gonna get angry. Even whether it comes slowly, but the point is he's still one that get angry. So that goes to show that he's not letting it happen. We're the one who are allowing it to happen, and he's the one that's dealing, that's putting it on us. So now they can see now that he's not just, as they would say, letting it happen, but he's the one causing it to happen because of disobedience. And this is what happens. This is why we have human suffering. Well, sin is a disease. It's a disease. And that disease causes certain things to happen to you. You sin. And we say sin causes what to happen, like I say, famine, earthquake, pestilence, disease, hunger, starvation, homelessness, depression. All this stuff comes from sin. Sin is the key thing, and it breaks down your mental and spiritual state with all these things. Just like with any other sickness and disease, you get a hold of your body, start breaking down your immune system and stuff. So that's what sin does on the spiritual aspect. It breaks us down and stuff until all these things start to take effect on us and stuff. So this is serious, in certain denominations and religions and this and that. They comfort you. They give you that comfort food. And that's a big problem. So, oh, he understands. Oh, he died for this. Oh, we have grace. But like Paul said, he didn't give you grace to sin. And that's what people take advantage of. Yet this is the thing that they teaching the people to make them feel good, to make them, not afraid. No, you should be afraid and very afraid and stuff. And that fear, what he's talking about, is the fear of respect, not that tormenting fear, but that fear of respect because of who he is and what he is and stuff. So these are the things that we have to deal with when we not in compliance and stuff. So to those that continue to ask that question, these are some of the answers to your question. And how we can revert this, how this can be turned around, just to be obedient. Just to be obedient. He said, keep my commandments and live. So that right there, I'm tell you right there, point blank, that's a way to survive, that's a way to get over this, a way to get past this. And he said it. Keep my commandments. Be obedient. Pretty much. That's what he's telling you. Be obedient and live. If you follow these rules and these regulations, you will live. And I'm using it fully. But even when we read when they was obedient, we seen how they was thriving. I mean, they had the jury, the bling bling, had everything they want. Everything was going. Nobody, even he wouldn't even allow no other nation to come up against them and stuff, as long as they was being obedient. But the minute they fell out of ram, it was a whole different story. So, how much more of his punishment that he give because of disobedience? And then you see, as parents, when our children were disobedient, put them on punishment, we spanked them with the rod, we did this and that because of their disobedience. So now, how much more him being the father of fathers, and everything, giving us those instructions on what to do and what not to do. So, when people ask these questions, say, how do you feel when your children disobey you and stuff? What do you do? What kind of punishment you put on them and stuff? So the Heavenly Father puts a punishment on us and stuff. And His judgment, His reward is right. When people hear the word reward, they think of something good. Oh, I'm gonna get a reward, this and that. But a reward comes in all kinds of forms, different ways, especially when it's dealing with the Most High stuff. So that reward ain't gonna always be a good reward and stuff, but you're gonna be rewarded to your duty that you done did. Okay, let's go to First Chronicles, 21st chapter. First Chronicles, the 21st chapter. Mhm. Mhm. 12 to 14.
First Chronicles, 21st verse, 21st chapter, verses 12 to 14. Either 3 years of famine or 3 months to be destroyed before your foes, while the sword of your enemies overtakes you, or else 3 days of sword of Yahuwah, even pestilence in the land, with the heavenly angels of Yahuwah destroying throughout all the borders of Yahshua. Now therefore consider yourself what word I will bring again to him that sent me. Then Daud said to God, I am in a great trouble. Let me fall now into the hand of Yahweh, for very great are his mercies, but let me not fall into the hand of man. So Yahweh sent pestilence upon Yahshua, and there fell of Yahshua 70,000 men.
Go ahead, you want to go up some? Let's see what happens. All right, read that 9th verse.
The Yahweh spoke to God, Daud said, saying, go and tell them, saying, this says Yahweh, I offer you three things. Choose one of them that I will give. And God came to me and said to me, this says Yahweh, choose for yourself either 3 years of famine or 3 months to be destroyed before your foes, while the sword is reigning overtakes you, or else 3 days of the sword of Yahweh, even pestilence in the land, with the heavy angels of Yahweh, destroyed without ever the orders of Yahshua. Now therefore consider yourself what word I will bring again to him. And you said to God, I am in a great trouble. Let me fall now into the hand of Yahweh. Very great are his mercy, but let me not fall into the hand of man. The Yahweh sent us upon Yahweh. From that bed of Yahweh, 7 times.
So all this because of what the leader did. He commanded, and they didn't want to do it because they already told him, they this is wrong. But David, what we call David, his word was so hard and stuff that he was afraid and when he did it. And so this is the punishment that he called the nation to have them end up getting for 70,000. But he gave him a choice. You see how he gave him a choice? Okay, you want this many years, or this many months, or this many days, this and that. And this one Dick Daoud said, oh man, I'm in trouble, I did great evil, this and that. So when you read that at the beginning, he was told not to count, not to number them. He went and did it anyway and stuff. Because this is the effect that leaders could call on a whole country and stuff. Look at that. And all that happened. Because that disobedience caused 70,000 in 3 days. Mm-hmm. Because he forced them to do something that they weren't supposed to do. Huh? Mm-hmm. Yeah. But he forced him. He made a choice for the person to do it. Because the guy hadn't said it. When you read up, he didn't want to do it, but he said his word was so harsh and stuff, he could have had him so he was afraid, but they would probably had him killed. Bingo, yeah. Uh-huh. What else is going on? Yeah.
Exactly. God is just, right? So
Yeah.
I'm sure the people that he chose to strike, their sin has been accumulated.
Yeah, so you can imagine, like you were saying, like the things going on with some of the countries here in Africa, how they did a coup and everything, but then you got these other countries want to go against them for doing the coup, but they own the protection, but yeah, you want another country to come in, so you giving a decision, oh, we're gonna fight against them. Why you gonna fight against them that did the coup to protect their own people because of something that other people do, but you want to make that decision, and that's the decision that leader will make if they do go to war and cause all his men to get killed. Mm-hmm. So these are kind of things that happen in life how these sins go from being personal sin, from individual sin, from parent sin to a national sin and stuff. Hmm. All right, let's go to Psalms 105:16. 16 key verse. So we're gonna start at one. Start at verse one. Verse one and read down to 16. Say, give thanks to Yahuwah. Call upon his name. Make known his deeds among the people. Sing to him. Sing praises to him. Speak of all his wonders. Make your boast in his set apart name. Let the hearts rejoice of those seeking him. Seek Yahuwah in his strength. Seek his face always. Remember his wonders which he has done, his miracles, and the right ruling of his mouth. O seed of Abraham, his servant, children of Yaakov, his chosen one. He is Yahuwah our Elohim. His right rulings are in all the earth. He has remembered his covenant forever, the word he commanded for 1,000 generations, the covenant he made with Abraham, and his oath to Yeshua, who they call Isaac, and established it to Yaakov for a law, to Israel an everlasting covenant. It's saying some key stuff here. Just who the people is dealing with. We see that it's dealing with who? Abraham, Isaac, and Yaakov. Their bloodline. Yaakov, yeah, who they call Jacob. It says, saying in verse 11, saying, to you I give the land of Canaan, the portion of your inheritance. When they were few in number, few indeed, and sojourners in it, and they went about from one nation to another, from one reign to another people. He allowed no one to oppress them. He reproved sovereign for their sakes, saying, do not touch my anointed one, and do my prophet no evil. And he called for a scarcity of food in the land. He cut off all the supply of bread. So this is what he did because they were being obedient, and this is what he did to those other nations and stuff. To the point where he wouldn't even let them touch it. And that's why I was saying earlier, as long as you're doing what he said, being obedient, this is the protection you'll get. Even if the people wanted to rile up against you, you're gonna cut that. You're already gonna give you that divine protection and stuff. And this is why, because it was a covenant that they made and that they were living by to a certain generation, and our people broke it, and that's why we ended up where we are today. But yet we see what Yahuwah will do when you're obedient, and we're seeing what he do when you're disobedient. So it goes back to he's not letting it happen. It's we that let it happen. We that let the blessings come to us, and we that let the curses come to us and stuff. So This is why it irks me when I hear people say, "Oh, he understand." I say he understand the wickedness that you're doing. He understand the goodness that you're doing. So yeah, he understand, but his understanding is different from our understanding. We better be understanding the same way he understands. What he say he gonna do, he gonna do, and that's what people got to get out of that. His thoughts are not our thoughts, his ways are not our ways. So you know how we may be compassionate in some things, or they ain't right. We shouldn't be compassionate. We should be telling people like it is, or whatever. But we play with it, and we smooth them and make them feel all right, and make it, like I say, make it seem that he do understand. He'll forgive you and this and that. But yet he tell us right here, no, you do this, and I do this. You don't do this, and I'm gonna do this and stuff. You see that? He told us back in Deuteronomy 28 and then Leviticus 26 chapter. So we see there his do's and don'ts and what happened and stuff. So as long as we do this, we'll get the best of the best and stuff. We see this right here because it's a covenant that he made, a contract that he put. And I like when we go back up, let's see, to verse, and he says in the eighth verse, he said, and he has remembered his covenant forever. The word he commanded for 1,000 generations, the covenant he made with Abraham and his oath with Yishak, with Isaac, and established it to Yaakov, what they call Jacob, for a law to Israel, an everlasting covenant. So he did what? He made the covenant with Abraham. He made the oath with Isaac. And then he established it with Yaakov for a law. So now, what they call the so-called other book they done added, they call it what? New Testament. But here, it never said nothing about a testament. It always talking about what? A covenant, a contract. See, it's a difference between a covenant and a testament. And that's what people get confused. But the funny thing about it, this is the wordplay that the enemy used. He put on there, titled it New Testament. But when you read it, even when you read that, it don't say nothing about New Testament. It'll say still talk about covenant within the reading. But see, that's where it all come down. People don't get into it. They don't read it and stuff, but he still talks about covenant. He came to do what? It's to renew that covenant. He didn't take nothing away. He just was renewing. He was adding some stuff to it to make it, to help out, to make it to better and stuff. Why? And the covenant was made with who? Was it made with the world or a certain nation of people? See, that's another thing people get confused. They read so-called New Testament stuff. He said, I come back for what? The lost sheep of the world, or the lost sheep of Israel. See, people not listening. They saying what they want to see and they hearing what they want to hear. But it's right there. He said, I can't have nothing but for the lost sheep. That's what he usually said. See, when they get in the wordplay, a lot of words they add into. Because if you seeing from the beginning all the way up to that time, he's dealing with a certain nation of people, a certain group of people. Now, in between, let's get it back, other little words have been put in to try to bring everybody in and stuff. But there's a reason why he came only for that specific people. Why? We say the world is in a mess because the priestly nation is in a mess. So he got to come back to get the priestly nation back in their rightful state where they can be at to be able to perform the duties to the rest of the world, to get it out there for the rest of the world to know how to live, because the oracle and the covenant was given to this certain nation. And that was the big issue. So and that's why I say a lot of stuff is going on today from the human suffering, all because of a group of people, all because leadership didn't stand. That's why the word even say, he will say, if my ministers, my leaders would have stood in my counsel, the people wouldn't have error. So they always go back to leadership. He said the people would not have error. Why? Because the people do what the leaders do. If the leaders doing good, the people gonna do good. If the leaders being bad, the people gonna be bad. It's just simple as that. And so these are the things that we see. So now we begin to see where all the suffering and stuff come from. Now we also get to see how to reverse it. We can see the cause, we see the effect, and we also see how we can get healed, how we can be healed from those effects and from those causes. And that's why I always say we have to kill this flesh daily. Because of some things that we don't when we read the word, we don't want to do it. You know, the flesh start acting silly, thoughts come to our head because they don't want to be in subjection. But once we can learn to put ourselves in subjection, see, it all comes down to what? Self-control. We gotta learn how to control ourselves. We can't control nobody else, but we should be able to control ourselves. And that's the magic. That's the key to everything. Controlling self. Once you can control self, everything else will fall in place. And that's what it's all about and stuff. Having that self-control. That's why he say, be angry, but sin not. He said, we're all gonna get angry, but he say, sin not. In other words, so sinning not is having what? Self-control. We're controlling ourselves. And that's how you kill this flesh daily and stuff. It's just like when you're fasting. You get to a certain many hours in your fast, and you say, oh, I'm going to fast at this time. Before that time get there, guess what? Your body going to start acting stupid. But you already said in your mind you want a certain specific time and stuff. So now it's going to start acting things trying to make you break that fast to do with that, you know. And so these are the things of the life that we want to live to be pleasing into him. And it all comes down to that self-control.
Yeah, I piggyback on that with the leadership thing. That is the problem with leadership in the states, like in the church or whatever. They won't even tell the church the definition of sin. They say sin all the time, but the definition of sin, and you can look at any biblical definition, is transgressing the law. You transgress the law, you sin. But they keep telling them, oh, you don't have to do it anymore. Well, why not? We respect everything else. We respect the police, teachers at school, our jobs, but not the Most High. It's kind of hypocritical. So you go to church, get yourself right. When you go there, and you can still do whatever you want to do. It doesn't make sense. It's super hypocritical because he says in Matthew, Yeshua, why do you call me good? The one is good, the one that is Elohim. If you want to enter into life, keep the commandments. How can you go to church and they tell you you have to listen to that? It's ridiculous. Not only did he say that, somebody asked him, he said to him, which ones? Yeshua said, you should not murder, you should not commit adultery, you should not steal, you should not bear false witness on your mother and your father, and you should love your neighbor as yourself. He went on to quote the commandments. So no confusion. Then you still go to church and say, oh, don't worry about that. You can't do that.
Yeah, yeah. Keep on, keep on. We're going to go to Ezekiel, 5th chapter. Ezekiel, the 5th chapter, 17. We're going to start at 12 and 17, the key verse, but we're going to start at verse 1.
Ezekiel chapter 5. And you, son of man, take a sharp sword, use it like a barber's razor, and cause it to pass upon your head and upon your beard. Then take scales to weigh it, and divide the hair. You will burn with fire a third part in the midst of the city. When the days of the siege are fulfilled, then you will take a third part and smite around it with a knife. And a third part you will scatter in the wind, and I will draw out a sword after them.
Now look, that's what I was saying. You will always use the physical for you to understand the spiritual part of it, of how we live and how we walk and what he gonna do and stuff. So in this example, the physical part, but he can understand the spiritual part, he's telling him to do what? Physically grab a razor, shave your head and your beard. And then I want you to do with that, I want you to do a certain, take a part of that, a third of that and do this, a third of that and do that, so you can capture the whole concept of what he's gonna do and stuff. And that's the amazing part of it. That's why I always tell people, no matter how spiritual it is, you always put that physical part in there, but we can comprehend it, but we can see, what's really going down, what we can understand it much better. So he don't leave us, you know, outside what we don't understand and stuff, everybody says, oh, it's spiritual, this and that. But he always give us that physical concept, so we can comprehend his word and what he means, to that point.
Verse 3. You will also take a few hairs and bind them on the edge of the garment. Then take some hairs again and cast them into the midst of the fire and burn them in the fire. For from it will come a fire that spreads to all the house of Yahweh. This says the Master Yahweh. This is Jerusalem. I have set it in the midst of the nations and countries that are around her. And she has changed my right rulings into wickedness more than the other nations, and my statutes more than the other countries that are around her. For they have refused my right rulings and my statutes. They have not had their ways in me. Therefore, this says the Master Yahweh, because you multiplied more than the nations that are around you, and have not walked in my statutes, neither have you kept my judgments, neither have you done according to the right rulings of the nations that are all around you. Therefore, this says the Master Yahweh, see, even I, am against you, and will execute judgment in your midst in the sight of the nations. And I will do in you that which I have done, that which I have not done, and of which I will not do any more again because of all your abominations. Therefore, the fathers will eat the sons in the midst of you, and the sons will eat their fathers. And I will execute judgment in you, and the whole remnant of you will I scatter into all the winds. Therefore, as I live, says the Master Yahuwah, surely because you have defiled my set apart place with all your detestable things and with all your abominations, therefore will I also diminish you. Neither will my eyes spare, neither will I have any pity.
So now we see, because of what they did, so they in actuality, what you do cause certain things to happen. So you let it happen. And we see right here that because of what they did, punishment that the rule was thrown out on them and stuff. So it goes back to, those people asking why he there, why he there. So we see that the rule ain't letting nothing happen. They did it of their own. He just gave them the punishment because of what they did. And I know it's hard for some people to comprehend it because when they think of the Most High, somebody that's powerful and this and that he's supposed to have that compassion no matter what you do. You just go ahead and just baby you and stuff. But no, he already said it. Why should he do that? Because he even said, I chastise you. I whip you. I still have my arm out, but before I do that, I'm gonna whip you. So you do all your whipping and I'm gonna have my hand out. You will comfort the baby after you beat him. So in other words, he let you know, hey, I'm gonna whip you. You repent, I have my arms open. You don't repent, I'm gonna keep my arms folded and keep on going. It's just that simple.
Verse 12. A third part of you will die with the pestilence, and with famine will they be consumed in the midst of you. And a third part will fall by the sword around you, and I will scatter a third part into all the winds, and I will draw out a sword after them. In this matter, in this manner will my anger be accomplished, and I will cause my anger to rest upon them, and I will be comforted. And they will know that I, Yahuwah, have spoken it in my zeal, when I have accomplished my aim upon them. Moreover, I will make you waste in a reproach among the nations that are around you in the sight of all that pass by. So it will be a reproach and an object of taunting, an instruction and astonishment to the nations that are around you, when I will execute judgment in you, in displeasure and in anger and in furious chastisement. I, Yahuwah, have spoken. Then I will send upon them the evil arrows of famine, which will be for their destruction, and which I will send to destroy you. And I will increase the famine upon you and will break your supply of bread. So I will send upon you famine and evil beasts, and they will bereave you, and pestilence and blood will pass through you, and I will bring the sword upon you. I, Yahuwah. Mm, that's some serious stuff there.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's what we say. You know, it's gonna fall into the hands. Mhm.
Yeah, and and see, this right here is the reason why we ended up in slavery, other part of colonized and went through so much because of this, because of the disobedience and stuff. He warned them. He had already warned them thousands of years before it even happened that, hey, this gonna come upon you. You're gonna suffer. You're gonna die. You're gonna be stricken with food. You're gonna be, beaten. You're gonna have people coming in don't care nothing about the young or the old and stuff. And the only way, like I said, to get back to this is to be obedient and stuff, just to get back to doing what we originally were supposed to be doing from the beginning. But these are the pros and cons of everything that we done been through because of our disobedience.